Okay, I'm going to tell you a story about, this is a true story. This guy, a long time ago, I was about, I guess around 11 or 12, and this guy came to my daddy's sailing school, and his name was Jerry Schuster. Pretty sure that was his name. And he's kind of like a surfer looking dude, didn't look that old, probably in his 20s, probably looked older than his age. He had kind of shoulder length, curly surfer hair, a little bit stocky, and missing one leg. And he wanted to learn how to sail. And so they were hesitant to sign him up, and he talked to my dad, the owner of the sailing academy at that time, and he said, do you think that I could learn how to sail even though I'm missing a leg? And my dad says, well, we could sure try. I'll refund your money for your classes if it doesn't work. Let's just try it. And so he would come and he'd take classes, and he was very nice guy. He wore jeans, pullover shirt. He used a crutch and hopped sometimes. And so then he bought a small boat, I think it was, and then I think he did some boat maintenance for my dad, some of the fleet boats. He had 41 of them in the end. And so I was down visiting with Jerry. He was always the nicest person, and I love boat people. And so he was really, really sweet, and I felt bad for him because he seemed, kind of sad. And so I loved to talk to him. So one day he was down there in the marina, and the dock on one of the boats, and or his boat, and I said, "Hey, Jerry," and he was like, "Hi, how are you?" And he knew I was the owner's daughter and everything, and he was a very respectful guy. And so I thought I'd visit with him for a little bit, cheer him up. And so we got into some kind of conversation, and he said, well, you can't always trust your friends. And I'm like, huh? And he says, well, I learned the hard way. And I was like, oh, really? And he said, yeah. He said, me and my buddies were out riding bikes, and riding in the dirt and stuff, and having a blast. And we were riding by the railroad tracks and everything. And he said, I did something stupid trying to ride over the track, something, and he said, and I went out, and they kept going, and they didn't come back. And what ended up happening was a train came and cut his leg off. It was horrible. And he felt like he had absolutely no life, because he was a young kid. I think he was like, 14 or 15 or something like that. And so he said, don't trust your friends. Can't depend on them. And he said it cost me a leg to learn that lesson. I was like, wow. And I said, so why don't you get like a fake leg? I mean, you don't want one? Or I said, no, it's not that I don't want one. He said, they are really hard to deal with. He said, but I kind of get around. He said, but they're just really expensive. Can't afford it. And I was like, wow, what a bummer. So, this guy was kind of a stocky guy. I wouldn't say he was just real fat. He just was kind of stocky, you know, mostly because he lost a leg and he can't get as much exercise as a lot of other people can that have both legs. But this guy was a pretty incredible sailor. And my dad started taking him on the wet Wednesdays. And, you know, some of the guys would kind of look, Jerry, you know, because he come down with one leg. And now he's going to get on the boat. And this is when we had the Easy Rider. This was our top dog, that boat. It took first like magic almost every single time. And it was almost like it was rigged. I mean, people would just get tired of it. Yep. Paul Miller, first place. California Sailing Academy. So, anyway, once people got used to Jerry being on the boat for wet Wednesdays, they really liked him. This guy was so upper body strong, okay? Nobody on the boat was as strong as him. He was incredibly strong. So, you know, when we would tack, he was always on the winches, and it was just like boom, 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 boom. They just cranked that baby down. And, you know, to my dad, it's like seconds count. Seconds and split seconds. So you really have to have somebody good, fast, and strong. But this guy was like, you know, gorilla strong. And so then the guys, you know, that, you know, went on the wet Wednesdays, which I did a lot with my dad, but we didn't get along too good, so I ended up sailing against him with some of his competitors who really hated, like Mark Spitz and Tony Cruz and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, everybody just loved Jerry. He's a great guy. So then my dad offered him a job teaching sailing. And this was incredible because, you know how that looks when your instructor has one leg and a crutch and he's teaching sailing, and people are going, well, I don't know if I can learn how to sail. I think that's pretty impressive. It's like, here's a guy with one leg, and yes, he learned how to sail. So, and what a nice guy. Gosh, what a nice guy. So, if you have a handicap, don't let it hold you back from your dreams. This guy had a dream, something he really wanted to do, and he did it. And two, don't ever trust your friends, because they did not come back. They did not come back to check on you. They just kept going. So, I hope you enjoyed that story. It is true story time. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. You have a great one. Count your blessings. Be grateful for what you have, because there's always someone worse off. Show the love. Do something kind for a stranger. Make a new friend every day. And too much of a good thing is wonderful. We'll have lots of that. Talk to you later. Thanks for riding on me. Love ya.